On June 13th, a package arrives for her, the first time she's had anything like that show up for her at Horizon. It contains an invitation printed on heavy card. Miss Columbia A. Channin and guest are invited to the grand launch of Edinu, New York, USA. All expenses paid June 30, 2021 for 7 days. Please respond to rsvp@edinu.com. There's also a simple gold ring in the package. Inside the ring is engraved Edinu. She slips the ring on her finger for safety. She's mystified. She takes the invitation away to her hiding place, behind a fallen tree trunk by the river to the west of the school, reads it again, rereads it. She pulls the ring off her finger and turns it over in her hand. She tries to imagine who might have sent this. Not Uncle Simon, there's never any money for trips or vacations, certainly nothing like this. There are no other relatives out there, no family friends she knows about. To her the most obvious answer is that she's somehow been selected as a student who can go to this Edinu place and suggest some improvements. She's probably just a lucky pick from thousands of students. And what is Edinu anyway? An amusement park? A type of game or contest? A type of journey? But what does it matter? Anywhere else is better than Horizon or Malwood, even if only for a few days. Her immediate concern is who to take. She could ask Uncle Simon to go with her, but he'd never do it. He has his work, he needs the money, and anyway, his entertainments run in a different direction. And certainly not Matthew. But she doesn't think Uncle Simon would let her go by herself either, and she can't think of anyone else to invite. The only people she knows are the ones who threw her out of a window, and the girls in her dorm who want nothing to do with her. There's one possibility, maybe. Dingo. Jane. She hasn't spoken to her in months, and she keeps out of her way like she keeps out of Weasel's way. After the last class of the day, she walks beside Jane as they return to their dorms, scaring Jane, who tries to walk faster to get away from her. Then she finally hands Jane the invitation. Dingo stops and studies it. "Will you come with me?" Columbia asks. Dingo avoids looking at her. "What is this place?" she asks. Columbia shrugs. "I don't know anything about it." Edinu, Jane says softly. Edinu means Eden. Eden, the beginning of everything. Columbia considers, maybe there really will be answers there, the answers that were never at Horizon. "Will you come with me, Jane?" Columbia asks again. Jane hands back the invitation. No. She awakes with a start. No idea what time it is, and she can't see anything in the dark, but strong hands are pulling her roughly out of the bed. Two people, then a blanket is over her head. Immediately she knows it's Weasel, Anvil too, some new torture. "Don't, please don't," she says weakly, and anyway it's muffled to near soundlessness by the blanket. She tries to shake off the hands that hold her, but they tighten their grip. Down the corridor, towards the stairs. They're going to take her out to the grounds, she thinks, where she can't be heard. Oh God, maybe the river. But unexpectedly, they take the stairs upwards. There's the sound of a door opening, then the chill night air, a shock after the warm stagnation of the dorms. She must be on the roof. She screams, and her knees buckle, but she doesn't fall. She pleads, cries. She'll do anything they want. They can do anything else to her, just not this. Then the blanket is pulled off her head. Through her tears there's the dark, the emptiness, blurred lights in the distance. She falls to her knees, scraping them, ignoring the pain. She turns. She can see it's not Weasel. It's not Anvil. It's two young women dressed in black. For a moment she thinks they're girls from the senior class, but they're too old to be students there. One has bright pink hair. It's just not possible, her mind screams, that it's the woman from the protest in the city, the same woman from all those months ago. That it could be her is even more terrifying than the thought of being on the roof with Weasel and Anvil. She has no idea what she could possibly have done that would explain this visit from the protesters. Or had she seen something she shouldn't have? She crumples to the ground. Her only thought is, I'm going to die here, and I don't know why. Get up, says one of the women. She's sure it's the one with the pink hair. She remembers the voice. I don't want to. I'm scared. Please don't. There's a caustic laugh. We're not going to hurt you, Columbia Channing. I only want to tell you something. Immoderata, she says from the ground. She's not getting up, no way. There's a silence. She must have surprised them. Then, how did you know that? Columbia says, I was in the city. There was a protest. I didn't see anything. I didn't tell anyone. The woman says, stand up. We're not going to hurt you. Columbia stands this time, slowly, anxiously. The other woman, she has silver rings through her nose and lips, hands her a fistful of tissues with the words, clean yourself up. The woman with the pink hair just watches. Now, Columbia remembers her name, Krieg. Krieg talks quickly. We know you were invited to Adinu. We know everyone who was invited. Let me be clear, Columbia Channing. Adinu is an abomination. It makes no sense to her. It's Eden, says Columbia. Adinu, Eden, very clever that you worked that out. Either way, this Eden is an abomination. Columbia doesn't understand. Why? What is it? Krieg replies, it's the first of 7 abomination, 7 affronts to humanity. 7. She suddenly knows they're talking about what's been on the news for months, the 7 secret projects, maybe even the birth of the Universal Alliance. Adinu, where there are answers, and her knowing there's the clock running down on her father. She tries to explain it to Krieg. I need to go there, that place, there's something there. She can't describe it all, her father, her hell, the theory of elsewhereness. Krieg continues, don't. If you go, I assure you, you will die there. The woman with the rings speaks. We're warning you, we're warning everyone. We don't want people to die uselessly. It reminds Columbia of the theory of uselessness. That's what she thought they were, these protesters, useless. And now they're threatening her. I have to go to Adinu, says Columbia. No, you don't, Krieg says. You can just turn around, tear up that invitation, sell the ring, forget about Adinu, go back to bed, sleep safely. I have to go. Columbia's certain now. You'll die there, Columbia Channing. Then I'll die. I'm still going. The answers are there. Krieg sighs, turns away. The other woman is angry, disgusted with her. Answers to what? What the hell kind of answers do you expect to find there? Pleasure, luxury, extravagance? Don't you understand? Can't you think? Don't you know that to live in luxury is a crime? To die in luxury is a sin? She can't bear it. She's never in her life even thought about dying in luxury. She's sure Adinu isn't anything like this woman is saying, and she doesn't care about pleasure, luxury. She feels a choking in her throat, tears rising again in her eyes. Quiet, Marta, says Krieg to the other woman. They stand there in silence on the roof. Krieg turns, points into the sky. Look at those lights, Columbia. There are 2 red blinking lights in the sky, far away and seemingly motionless. A plane headed to one of the airports outside one of the cities. The transatlantic route, Krieg explains, obscurely, as she types something into a cell phone. then turns back to look at Columbia. Oh, Columbia, know that we have such power, such access, such technology. So many people are with us now. The other woman, Marta, stares at her. Just watch the lights, Columbia. It's as if the two of them, Krieg and Marta, have played out this scene before. She watches the red lights. She can detect some movement now, the lights getting closer, turning maybe. Then in a few moments the lights are much lower, much closer, and she can make out the shape of the plane in the night sky. She can even see the row of lights of its windows. It's turning again, towards them, lower still, until it appears to be flying straight towards them on the roof. I could make it fly straight into this building, says Krieg, turning her back to the approaching plane. She holds up the cell phone to Columbia, a finger over the keys. Up or down, it's my choice. Over us or into us, I control it absolutely. The plane approaches over the trees, unimaginably large and white, incredibly loud. It's the most terrifying thing she's ever seen, this frightful energy and mass and noise. She throws herself down onto the roof as a tornado of wind whips past, flailing her hair and clothes. The building shakes beneath her, and she wonders if she'll be swept off the roof. The blanket lifts, flies far away over the fields. As the noise lessens, the wind dies, she gets to her knees, shaking, and watches as the plane climbs away. She sees that the two women are still standing there, unmoved. They hadn't even crouched. Yes, it's clear to her they've done this before. In that instant, a theory of fear forms fully in her mind, without thought, as if it had always been there. 1. It has to be unbearable. It has to make you scream and beg and pray as you lose yourself. 2. It has to make you give up. 3. It has to make you less than you were. She throws up, suddenly, not a moment's warning, her whole body shuddering from the shock. This is your only warning, Columbia Channin, says Krieg. There aren't any answers at Edinu, says Marta. Still on her knees, she stares into the slick puddle in front of her, unable to move. The theory of fear, nothing can displace it in her mind. She wants to chase the fear out of her mind, but she can't. The smell of the vomit takes her back to the hospital, the corridors. A theory comes quickly to her, a theory that's more powerful than the theory of fear. The theory of elsewhereness. She shouts it at them like a curse. 1. Something's happening. 2. The answers aren't here. 3. The answers are out there. The two women stare at her. Answers for what? Spits Krieg. The words pour out of Columbia, desperately. My father, my misery, my stupidity, my poverty, the way I look, my hell. I'm in hell. Jesus, exclaims Marta in disgust. You can't stop me. At that moment it seems to her that Krieg's face softens. Compassion maybe, a pitying respect, or maybe just pity. Krieg lifts Columbia to her feet. Then the two women leave her there on the roof, walking quickly away, past Jane crouching in the doorway, ignoring her as if she didn't even exist. I heard something in the hallway. I followed you, Jane explains, as they walk back down the stairs. I'll go with you to Edinu, to Eden. I want to go with you. Columbia laughs insanely. It's a completely senseless thing for Jane to say after what had just happened. She wants to shake her, even hit her again. Didn't you see what they did? Didn't you see the plane? Didn't you hear what they said? They said I'd die there. It's that theory you said, elsewhereness. And Eden, there isn't anything for me here anyway. It's inconceivable, absurd, but Jane is emphatic, like nothing she's ever seen before. And I don't like being told I can't do something, Jane concludes. Back in the dorms, it's uncontrolled panic. Girls hiding, running, shouting, screaming. She ignores it all, her mind in its own disorder.